Urban renewal and the construction of Interstate 81 marked the beginning of the end for the 15th Ward. Almost all of that close-knit community was now gone.
We had urban renewal, and this is what's going to happen, and this is, you know, if we clean up everything, everything will be all pretty and clean. But even if it's pretty and clean, it's like gentrification now. You can't go back to where you were.
Everything changed. Some people said it changed for the better because they tore these old houses down that were old and raggedy and boom, boom, boom. No, it changed because they went to the area of least resistance, tear the property down, put the highways through. Once they tore all the houses down, blacks had to go somewhere because it was, you know, all our neighborhood was gone, demolished.
It was heartbreaking, but it was, in a way, it was a good thing because it gave black people a chance to spread out more.
Marion Irvin's family was able to use state money for relocation services.
We moved in 1962 from Madison Street to 212 East Castle Street back then. That's the first time my parents bought a house. They were one of the first people, first family, to take advantage of the urban renewal, that program for buying homes. It was a big move for us. When you go from being a renter to a landlord, as you say, that's a big move.
Got my dinner ready yet, honey?
Home ownership was a major advantage for families who had enough money to afford a home. For others, though, their troubles were just beginning. You can see it in these headlines: house rentals refused to Negroes, or nobody will sell Negro officer a home. The grim reality of starting over was setting in.
I said, my name is Mr. Dunham. I'm calling to rent an apartment. It was in the paper. And right off the bat, I told him I was a Negro. Back then, he said Negro. And he said, oh, Mr. Dunham, it's not me. I just rent the place. It's the landlord. He doesn't want any Negroes here.
You had a restricted area that you knew you weren't supposed to, and real estate agents did not show people in those homes. You would see something listed in the paper, and when you would get there, they said, oh, it was just rented. Or they would say, I don't mind, the landlord would say, I don't mind you living here, but the neighbors might object.
So the struggle continued, this time for fair housing. A Post-Standard article from 1963 chronicles the Syracuse March for Fair Housing. It drew 350 protesters, black, white, young, and old. CORE, the local chapter of the Congress of Racial Equality, was one of the most vocal organizers. In this publication, the group said its goal was to bring the human element into the Syracuse Urban Renewal Program.
CORE, we did the black and white team, the salt and pepper teams. Black couple goes out, then the white couple, they don't get the apartment.
Right.
The white couple goes out, they get the apartment. You send the black person back again, they don't get the apartment. So we did that all over.
On the same day as the Syracuse March, Mayor William Walsh spoke from the steps of the county courthouse saying, quote, "It is essential that the blight of discrimination be guarded against and that equal opportunity for all to be advanced." Housing complaints, though, were still piling up with the State Commission of Human Rights.
In many places we couldn't go because they didn't want us there, you know, when they were moving us. So they said, well, we move everybody south.
Many black families migrated to other parts of the city, mainly the South Side. They left behind that close-knit community feel of the 15th Ward.
The disadvantage to having us spread out, I don't know if we used all our political powers in the 15th Ward or its fringes, but with the scatteration, blacks were all over, so that diluted any political power or emphasis we wanted to be involved in.
All of that would eventually change. Although the 15th Ward no longer existed, the spirit and determination grew even stronger. Those who were displaced found housing. A few years later, successful protests resulted in more and better jobs for blacks at companies like Niagara Mohawk. In the early 70s, Junie Dunham was elected to the Onondaga County Legislature, and others went on to become prominent forces in the community. The sons and the daughters of the 15th Ward would not allow their struggle to define their story. Years later, though, as the future of Route 81 was called into question, many wondered, was history repeating itself?